Paul says something really interesting here in verse 17 of chapter 2. Even if I'm poured out as a drink offering upon the sacrificial offering of your faith, I'm glad and rejoice with you all. Likewise, you also should be glad and rejoice with me. This seems like there's a contrast. When I first read this, it's like drink offering. I'm being poured out like a drink offering. I'm using up all of my energy and all of my resources for you guys. But I'm glad and I rejoice. And that didn't seem to click. And then I looked into drink offerings. And this is where fun things happen. The drink offering is kind of introduced into the sacrificial system in Leviticus 23, but it is not to be done then. In fact, it couldn't be done then. Have a look. Chapter 23 of Leviticus, it says, verse 10, when they would start offering things like the drink offering, speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land that I give you and reap its harvest, you shall bring the sheaf of the first fruits to the harvest of the priest, and the drink offering of wine shall be given as well. Think about this. How long does it take to grow a glass of wine when you're out there in Egypt without Sainsbury's down the road to go and buy one? It takes blooming ages, doesn't it? You have to dig a vineyard, you have to plant, you have to see it grow, you have to get the right weather conditions, then you get some grapes, then you crush them, then you make them into, and then you ferment it, and then you make it into wine. And then the drink offering is all about then pouring it out on an altar. At the end, as what seemed like a waste, but actually that is a victorious moment. It's similar to us when, I don't know, if someone wins a Grand Prix, or you have a great success at work or in your degree, you might get a bottle of champagne and fizz it up, spray it out. It seems like a waste, but actually it's an act of complete victory. We've won, and look what we can do, kind of thing. They would only have a glass of wine to pour over the sacrificial altar when God had brought them into the promised land. Before that point, they're wandering in the wilderness. They have no time to plant vineyards. It's only when they cross the Jordan as the Israelites, back in the Old Testament, they cross the Jordan, God establishes them in their land. They are victorious in that land. And then they can dig vineyards, they can grow things, then they can produce glasses of wine, where they can pour that over the altar. That, every time they do it, you might see it as a waste. Some might look at that as a waste of time, but actually it is a victorious action. Paul is saying, look, me preaching the gospel, speaking to people, ending up in Rome in prison and being able to talk to people about the gospel of Jesus is a sign of our victory, of Jesus' victory, that he is in charge, that he is inheriting this whole world, that he is on the throne. We don't have to fear. We are more than conquerors. And this is a sign of that. Being able to share the gospel and give ourselves as drink offerings on behalf of others is a sign of victory, not just of wasted effort. But actually this is a sign of we're on the winning team and we're going forwards, and and God is on our side. So even this little reference here is a sign that Paul believes we Christians are on the front foot. We are more than conquerors. We are victorious. We are celebrating while we do all of this stuff. And you guys can too. So have a discussion. How does that make you feel? How does that make you think?